Hi, caregivers. Today's topic is staying afloat. As always, the information should not be used as a substitute for advice from appropriate qualified licensed practitioners of medicine, psychology, law, or financial planning. On the expanded disability scale, we are talking about a level 1, which is minimal disability. This video actually piggybacks on a video that was done in segment 0, and it was entitled Sink or Swim, and it really talks about how you feel when you are trying to stay afloat, especially financially, with a partner that has put so much time or effort into making investments. And it really looks at what happens when you have a disability, and if you have enough assets to stay afloat, will they run out, and then what is your choice as far as long-term planning. So when we look at resources, the best resources are financial advisors, elder care advisors, Medicaid advisors, and different support groups. So one of the reasons why I created this video series is because when I found out that my partner had a very extreme medical condition, and it was probably going to be something, close to about a decade, and all of the caretaking expenses that were associated with it, you start to look into, what are your options? And what I found was people that were actually like living in homes or getting like a lot of the assistance, they were getting that because they were on Medicaid. There's a difference between Medicare and Medicaid. Medicare is something that you qualify for when you become disabled, and it helps with medical expenses. So it's sort of like a government insurance, so that you don't end up with, trying to get private insurance. That is too costly. But Medicaid is really geared towards people that have limited means, to try to, basically be a social network to help them. And what it does is that it allows somebody that has less than $2,000 cash, they can have a house with less than $572,000 in some states and less than $858,000 in other states. They can qualify. They can have one automobile, and they can have a pre-purchased burial plot for themselves or their family. They can have some income producing property, but that property has to generate at least 6% of its value annually, and then also some life insurance, which is minimal. So if you qualify for that, then you can again qualify for different medical services, such as a PACE program, which is another video that I'll get into, or different types of programs. But you have to basically get down to that level. Otherwise, everything is pretty much out of pocket and extremely expensive. So this is just a quick example of something that you can find through the American Council of Aging. I have this link on my website, and it's just a quick Medicaid Planner to help you determine eligibility. They also have several links to people that can assist you, and then I've also linked up some elder care sites that should also be helpful. So this is just a quick checklist before you talk to an advisor, and it really just gives you just a quick rundown on what your choices are as far as going on Medicaid and using a social safety net, limiting your income but alleviating burden on caretakers, or trying to sustain your investments and your equity, continue to try to use your family caregivers, or hire them out, and try to create an independent life. So again, with Medicaid, there is a 5-year look back. That's something that you definitely want to review. There is an estate recovery as well. There's some exemptions. Again, it's best to talk to somebody that is well versed in this. But what happens is that once you go on Medicaid, and I've talked to several individuals that didn't understand this, they thought it was great until they found out that when they sold their parents' house, that there was no equity in it. So they did not get their inheritance that they had been expecting. So the Plan, Do, Check Act, planning, you want to determine what makes the most initial sense, using or not using Medicaid, and then talk to a planner or advisor, and then check to see if you're missing anything. Make sure that you go through all your financial documents pretty thoroughly, and then make any changes as necessary to move forward. So in conclusion, I hope that helps with some initial choices. I know this is a very high level overview, but it really gives you something to think about as far as, do you want to let go and make peace with it, or do you want to hold on and compromise? This video series is really about the choice to hold on and compromise, and I hope that you have the opportunity to watch future videos. Thanks again for watching, and please hit like and subscribe.